Welcome back to the service park. Well, for the next half an hour, myself and the rest of the team will be with you, taking you through the media zone, all of the service, and getting all of the scoop on what's happened over the last 3 stages. What a dramatic turn of events for Adrien Fourmaux. Lots to discuss and lots to get through. But for now, it is Mike Chen with Stephen Cho at Hankook.
Yeah, good on you, Kiri. Thank you very much. As you said, so much to talk about. A dramatic morning once again here in Sardinia. We'll get into that with the media zone. For now, I'm joined by Stephen Cho from Hankook. Listen, Stephen, as we said, lots to talk about. I think the first thing is Adrien Fourmaux and Ott Tanak. Lightning struck twice for Hyundai. I think the one thing we've learned this year is that you don't get punctures with this tyre. We know how durable it is without hitting something. Adrien did say, yeah, I collected something. Have you heard anything from the team or from the guys at all about the situation with the tyre and what happened?
Yeah, we all had a collective gasp in the trailer while we were watching as well. Of course, we don't want to have any issues, regardless of whether there was a hit or not. But as you say, Adrien did say that he had hit something, and so we're finding that with most of our punctures, you can't avoid it to a certain degree. We have to have them. It's a part of the game, but most of them have been driven by some sort of hit somewhere. And then finally, with Ott, you could see that it's sort of held together till the end, and so we were really happy to see that as well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that you've said you guys have worked very hard with is when there is a puncture, that actually the main carcass of the tyre stays together. It doesn't delaminate and start damaging suspension and everything else. And with Ott Tanak, you could see there was an enormous slit right in the sidewall of the tyre. So that damages straight away the structure, doesn't it? But it held together, and Ott ended up only losing half a second or so.
That's right, yeah. So as you say, of course, our target is to have a tyre completely in perfect condition till the end of the stage. If that's not possible, then we want it to hold pressure until the end of the stage. If that's not possible, we want it to keep from breaking apart until the end of the stage and destroying the car. And I think we've been seeing on various conditions that the tire's been holding up very well.
Yeah, for sure. From that point of view, box ticked. Where do you go from here? Because obviously the tyre is incredibly durable, and as you said, punctures are part of the game within rallying because it's so brutal out there. So where do you go from here? Because it is such a compromise between durability and performance. If you make a tyre that's incredibly strong, you're perhaps sacrificing performance a little bit. So what are you guys doing with R&D to maybe now start engineering a bit more performance into the tyre?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we're still not sort of over or out of the woods, as you say. Starting from Portugal, I think we're sort of, gradually getting a little bit more and more difficult. We knew that yesterday would be tough, like especially stages 3 and 6. We knew that would be hard. And then today, we were expecting this one to be the hardest one, and we saw sort of some of that issue coming through now. And so as we prepare for Greece, we're still not through the woods, and so we're still being very, very careful. We'll probably do a little bit of a summary of where we are post-Greece. But to your question, yeah, it's a balance and it's a compromise, right? And so, as we said, our philosophy was to bring something that was very puncture resistant, very durable. I sound like a broken record, I know, but that was the target, and it seems to be working very well. And then, as you say, the question is going to be, as we want to start taking the feedback from the drivers and the teams, which has been very valuable for us, how we can improve the performance, how we can maybe provide something where the drivers feel just a little bit more happy, a little bit more confident, but everything comes as a compromise. And so it's going to be a delicate balance at this point because, even though it's not perfect for everyone, it's the same for everyone, and that's really important. So we'll have to be very careful now to find that right balance. We want to bring some tweaks and some upgrades in the future, but we'll do it very carefully in collaboration with everyone else.
Let's talk a little bit about the difference between the soft compound tyre and the hard compound tyre. In Portugal, we noted that you could bolt, in certain conditions, you could bolt the soft on and you wouldn't see a dramatic difference in time, at least, in performance between the soft and the hard. Why is that? What's going on there?
Yeah, again, I think if you look at it in a positive way, the working range of both the hard and the soft is quite wide, and so you see a big overlap, and there are some benefits to that. Of course, even though there's a wide overlap and a wide working range, when you start getting to the upper and lower extremes, so when it gets really hot, yesterday we were seeing some tire surface temperatures above 140. That's really high. And then, earlier in Portugal and some other stages, when you see the morning loop, then the temperature's getting very low. So when you're in that upper and lower extreme, you see the big benefits of the hard and the soft, but it's true that we do have like a wide working range and a lot of overlap. So we're looking to the future. We might consider trying to broaden that gap a little bit. So it'll bring a little bit of a different dynamic to the strategy. so that you see much more of a difference from one to another. Maybe you get caught out more if you make the wrong choice down the line, but that's also another thing that we're going to look at and we can tweak in the future.
It's all part of the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's been fascinating. I have to say, listen, the one thing that Hankook, without question, have brought to the championship is the fact that we are not seeing rallies being lost by punctures, and that's the critical thing, isn't it, Stephen? Thank you very much for your time. In the meantime, Sami Pari, he's a big fan of coffee. Take a look at this.
Okay. Hello, buonasera.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Would you like to have some coffee?
Yeah, sure. Cappuccino.
Italian cappuccino.
Yeah,
So let's
nice.
go. We put the coffee inside after we wash this for machine. And
So in Finland, it's quite strong culture for coffee. So yeah, I think it's kind of a habit to take it, and it's kind of a relaxing moment. I feel it that way, that it's normally the moment when you have coffee, it's a time for a little short rest.
one, just one. Perfect.
Like this. For me, it's more like I have the coffee in the morning and maybe at lunchtime, but otherwise the days are so busy that there is not so much time to drink the coffee. So maybe when I'm at home, then I drink a few cups more a day. But yeah, it's just whenever I can, but not taking stress that I really need to have it.
Then on the right.
Like this?
Yes, perfect.
But what is home for you? I know you love your dogs. Are the dogs an important part of your at-home time?
Yeah, there has been some dogs. Let's say really many of my really close friends, they have some dogs in their homes as well. So somehow there is always dogs involved in whatever we are doing at home. So, but yeah, I'd like to just spend the time normally with my friends and family and do something totally different. Sometimes it's something to do with rally cars or drifting or karting or maybe something with the dogs. It's the people or the close friends which are connecting the things. Yep.
Are you happy with the season so far?
It has been really, really challenging, and that's something we knew already before the season even started. So. And especially in the beginning of the season, it has been so many very different kinds of rallies. So you are almost every time you are learning something new. Of course, I would like to do again better than the previous rally. I think that's what it's all about always, like trying to always learn from the previous rallies and just try to do always a bit better and better. And it has not been too easy, especially like we know the competition is super tough. And still, I would like to be a bit more on the safe side, and that's also like what the plan has been with the team, not to try to rush too much, but like be clever. But of course, sometimes also try to show some speeds.
I mean, you're competitive. I'm sure you want to win a stage.
Yeah, sure, why not? I would like to win a rally at some point as well. So, yeah, I guess that would be nice as well. Bravissimo.
Well, there we go. Sami Pari there, just taking a little bit of moment of calm before the storm that was Rally Sardegna. Right, we're in the thick of it right now. So Sebastien Ogier out in front, 15 seconds now ahead of Ott Tanak. Lots to talk about, and we'll be doing that over the next 20 minutes or so. Kalle Rovanpera in third, Sami Pari in fourth, Elfyn Evans in fifth, and Taka in sixth. And then you're seeing the WRC 2 guys breaking up the party there. Griers and Lindholm, Fourmaux mixing it up in ninth, and then Oliver Solberg in 10th. That's all because of all the drama that's happened over the last couple of days now. But I think let's make our starting point here with you, Adrien Fourmaux. Such disappointment. It started early on with that puncture and then just kind of unravelled.
Yeah, a real shame for Adrien, wasn't it? I mean, you're gutted because he's in Portugal. He didn't deserve that link arm that failed. It was just an open arm, and he didn't deserve that. And this one, he's he openly admitted he hit something, didn't he, Kiri, and picked up that puncture. And you just don't get away with things like that on the stage. This is the thing he'll be regretting more than anything else, to be honest with you, is carrying on for 40 seconds and then stopping to change the puncture. He should have just, in hindsight, it's very easy to say this, but just stopped and changed the puncture because it was still such a long way to go rather than trying to limp it
and that's
through.
Twice now that he's had that difficult decision. Kenya as well, he had that difficult decision which sort of backfired by carrying on. So he's definitely learning some hard lessons out there in terms of picking up punctures and the juggle between what you do.
Yeah, and it is such a difficult decision to make, and this was a little bit later on in the stage, wasn't it, where he just we pinpointed that the car's getting pitched around, so the back of the car in particular ends up kangarooing all over the place, and it's just jumped them off, literally off the stage, and then you can't get back on it because there's a bit of a bank there, so he's just got to plough on through the field and hope that there's no big rocks or anything in it, which is exactly what he's done. Got to the top there, you can see the bank sort of disappears there where it rejoins the road, and then yeah, a little bit later on he's outbraked himself and ended up in the trees, which was really unfortunate for him. Got a few angles of this. That'll only get worse as well for the second run through. It's really, really bumpy there. It was such a difficult stage. That for me is the most difficult stage of the rally, although we've got 4 brutal ones coming tomorrow, but because there's just so many different variations in the surface of the road. And again here, just coming down, he's outbraked himself. He's clocked the rear right of the car. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see what the damage was at the end of the stage. Very lucky, though, that he didn't end up in the trees and pull the entire cooling package off it.
Actually, for him. Okay, well, that's sort of Adrien Fourmaux's morning as it unfolded there. Such disappointment for him once again, and exactly what we did talk about was the fact that he needed this not to happen here. He hasn't had a run of luck, but I mean, you make your own luck, but sometimes it just bites you a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Portugal bit him. On this occasion. He has hit something and he's caused that puncture. And to be honest, what's happened in this stage? Academic anyway, because the damage was already done on the previous stage with the puncture.
Yeah, OK, well, we have got interviews coming in. It is the media zone time of the day, and PK is out there getting those, so he's with Thierry Neuville.
Thierry, not where you want to be as a former Sardegna winner, but how have things been out there for you this morning?
Yeah, pretty okay. I mean, straightforward for us. Lots of cleaning. We made a tire choice according to what it needs to have good tires left for tomorrow. So I only took some used soft and 3 new hards. So yeah, not what you needed this morning, but just try to get through, enjoy it, and that's it.
I seem to remember it was a similar situation last year as the first sort of major setback, and obviously you proved what can be done when you have a little bit of a setback. All the focus now on tomorrow, I guess. Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, if you're going to be third on the road tomorrow, there's very little chance for any points. But yeah, it's a rough afternoon out there this afternoon, so let's see what's happened. We saw already a bit of disaster out there this morning, unfortunately, once more for the Hyundai team. So yeah, very disappointed to see that. Adrien losing time and also Ott struggling in the last stage. But yeah, I hope that they're going to have a better afternoon.
Yeah, well, that last one in particular, I mean, what's that going to be like the second pass? Because it already looked pretty tasty out there.
It will be tough, it will be rough. I mean, I don't worry so much for myself, but yeah, I hope that my teammates having a strong afternoon this afternoon and still being in the fight for victory.
Yeah, I think that's a big question about what are the stages going to be like this afternoon as well. And I have to say, tomorrow was, from what we'd read, going to be the hottest day. This is absolutely big. This is a lot hotter than yesterday already, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a scorcher out there. And as I said, it really tests all of the drivers' how physically fit they are, but then also the components, the key components on the car as well. So it's a real challenge. Tomorrow is going to be, I'm told, a couple of degrees hotter as well, as you've mentioned. So and the stage is potentially even rougher. So tomorrow's going to be a real test. I've got to say, though, back referencing what Thierry was saying there, really disappointing for Hyundai as a whole, because Thierry was leading the rally and then that's gone wrong. Adrien Fourmaux was well in the fight for victory. And
he was leading the rally yesterday as well.
And it's gone wrong for him. And then Ott Tanak obviously picking up that rear left puncture. Very lucky to only drop the time that he did. But I still think probably Ott would have probably dropped 4 or 5 seconds in there as a result of that puncture. So he'd have been right there as well.
Yeah, indeed. But it could all turn on its head for Toyota. We've already seen problems for Taka yesterday, and Sami Pari as well, also having a moment out there, so it's not plain sailing.
He was very lucky to get away with that, I have to say. We were watching the onboard, and the corner before this, he was really late on the brakes, really deep into it, and he's just been caught out into that clearing there. Again, by the time the car had stopped, it had just nudged up against the tree, you know, so it just started, but he got away with it.
These moments had happened yesterday, they wouldn't have come away unscathed.
Different story, would have been a different story for sure.
Indeed. All right, well, as we are sort of looking through who's been out there today, let's have a look at Elfyn Evans. I think he would have wanted to make a bit more of his position on the road, but it's still not been a bad run.
Look, this morning I was kind of questioning, why isn't Elfyn on it? What's going on here? Why is he dropping back? But in hindsight, now you think about it, he's not going to catch Sami Pari. Look at the risks you have to take on this rally, Kiri, in order to reel in 50 seconds. The chances are Elfyn would do some damage and not get to the end of the day. Well, that's no good for anybody.
And this is a man fighting for a championship
exactly.
now.
So he is now using his brain going, I'm going to stay where I am. I'll bag the points. I'll bag the points for 5th position overall. That's okay. And then tomorrow he can bag some championship points for Super Sunday points and some power stage points. That's what he's got to do. He's driving with his brain. I'm sure there's more in Elfyn Evans and more in that car. He's just not taking the risks because you have to go flat out to try and catch Sami, and you'll end up coming a cropper.
And he still has the 30-point buffer between himself and Kalle Rovanpera. Yes, Kalle Rovanpera now is etching closer on those points. But like you said, the Super Sunday points available. It's going to be interesting tomorrow, but we've still got 3 more stages this afternoon. How's Elfyn actually feeling, though? PK found out.
Elfyn, it seems you're driving smart out there, already up to 5th now. It's always a rally of attrition, and I guess you've got to hang on in there and see what happens now tomorrow. How have things been for you this morning?
Yeah, obviously tough morning out there, like always here in Sardinia, but all okay. Maybe not taking the risk we would need to set top times, but I think at this point there's not a huge amount to fight for in terms of position, so we just need to stay at a good pace, have a feeling in the car, and try and stay out of trouble.
How has it been to stay out of trouble? I mean, that last stage in particular looked particularly rough.
Yeah, that last one's very difficult. A lot of unknowns. The jumps are massive now. A lot of these man-made jumps, so it's just such a lottery how the car behaves. So for us, it was a case of taking it easy. But I guess for the guys fighting, it's a bit more difficult to judge. When you look ahead to tomorrow, road position, of course, will still play a part. But do you think where you're going to be roughly, you've got a chance to do something, maybe? Let's wait and see. The guys are obviously on a very good pace out in front, so we have to wait and see how we fare. Okay, good luck for later. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, there we go. Elfyn Evans talking exactly about what Chenny was talking. He's got a little grin on his face because just seeing Chris Ingram in the distance there. So we have had a hello from another rally driver. But let's focus back in on Elfyn and the fact that he was saying it's not worth, like you said, it's not worth jeopardising a whole weekend of points for a massive push that perhaps isn't doable. Yeah, well, that's just, I mean, Elfyn's confirmed it for us there, hasn't he? You know, he said to us there, there's no point going absolutely flat out because said he ain't going to catch anybody, and he will end up going off the road. You've seen it with so many of the drivers this weekend. The margins are so fine here, Kiri. So Elfyn just driving smart, get it through the day, and you can't. And as well, if he can do that, you can't. You've got to remember, you've got 3 lads up at the front who are going flat out, all fighting for a win. So they're taking bigger risks. It's not to say that Elfyn won't capitalise on an issue that they have. So Elfyn at the moment is just driving within his means to not damage the car, pick up the points where he is. Tomorrow, though, I suspect will be a little bit different. He'll be pushing for Super Sunday and power stage points. Just having a look back at that stage, it is a wild stage, isn't it? Sardinia definitely throwing up some fantastic stages for us to watch. OK, well, Kalle Rovanpera, exactly who we've been talking about. First stage out this morning, just powered out, took a place straight off the bat. So we're going to see how he's feeling with PK.
Kalle, it seems like you found a slightly happier with your setup today. What is working for you out there today that wasn't so much yesterday? Yeah, it was quite clear after the first pass yesterday. We had to do some changes. After that, it has been quite clear what we want from the car, and it has been working better. So yeah, today better feeling in the car, and also better starting position is making a big difference. Some very rough stages out there. I understand you had a bit of a scare in the last one, was it? Yeah, it has been surprisingly rough already now. Not so many cars through, and already a lot of loose stones. Start to be quite deep ruts. Afternoon will be really harsh, I think. Obviously already moving up as well. The rally of attrition continues with those issues for Fourmaux. I mean, is there still chance of progress? Obviously a lot of time lost yesterday with the sweeping. Yeah, there is always chance, but there is also a chance for us to hit some trouble. So the afternoon will be, of course, important to try to be fast and
keep going, but also avoid all the troubles.
Well, Kalle Rovanpera there sitting in third at the moment. Exactly sort of what we've been saying. There is always a chance that anything can happen out there. The next 3 stages are going to present some difficulties no matter what we expect.
Absolutely. And Kalle, unlike Elfyn's now, he's made a decision, back off, just hold station. Calle's in a fight, so he's got to push, and he said himself there. There's always the chance on a rally like this that you hit something. And Kalle hasn't been hanging about this morning. The times have been impressive. Yep. And that's forced Ott Tanak and Sebastien Ogier to respond. That's how difficult Rally Sardegna is. And I have to say, I think as an overall package, you'd have to give it to Toyota from a performance perspective, at least so far this weekend.
OK, well, we were seeing Ott Tanak absolutely flying, perhaps not expecting what we did for him to drop the time with that puncture. But how is he feeling about it all? Let's listen in.
Well, it's still in the fight at the front, 15 seconds now with those nominal times brought in, but you got away with one there in that last stage with that punch. Just talk us through how that happened and how difficult it was to manage it and still keep some sort of structure with the tyre.
Yeah, quite similar what we had in Portugal actually. So firstly a bit slow puncture, and then basically 5 Ks to go. It was completely empty, but yeah, we managed through. Again, it's stayed on the rim, so yeah, we didn't lose too much time.
A little bit confused what the issue was in that first stage. You said some sort of communication. Was that a sort of pace notes misheard or misread or something?
Yeah, it was communication between us.
And then 15 seconds then, it's Seb Ogier. You're both former winners here. I know it seems like a big ask, but I guess it's Sardinia. Anything can happen. What are your thoughts on still keeping that hunt alive?
Yeah, let's see. Obviously, it looks like this afternoon is going to be much more rough than yesterday. So, like we could see already, quite a bit starts to be like a lottery with the tires. And I mean, yeah, obviously he's been pushing quite hard as well. So let's see what happens. For sure, they are able to do a good pace, and yeah, he definitely feels good in his car. But I mean, it's still all to play for. We'll look forward to the fight. Good luck this afternoon. Thanks, Ott.
A bit of a lottery with the tyres, but Ott Tanak ready for this afternoon. Such disappointment, but he did actually didn't lose a huge amount with that puncture, a lot less than what we saw from Adrien Fourmaux.
Yeah, we saw on the splits where the time relative to Sebastien Ogier had ebbed away, and it said 5 kilometres from the end. Well, exactly 5 kilometres on the splits is where he started to drop time. So I would say he lost around 4 to 5 seconds. Got to the end of the stage, only dropped half a second to Kalle Rovanpera, so managed the situation really well. And as we were just discussing with Stephen Cho from Hankook, the tyre held together. Yeah. It stayed on the rim, and that's what allowed him to be able to drive the way he did, get it to the end of the stage and manage that situation. It's going to be interesting to see what Ott Tanak does this afternoon. The stages are going to evolve, things are going to change. Does Ott go out and go hell for leather now that Adrien Fourmaux is in trouble and Thierry Neuville's running around at the back? He hasn't really got a choice because it's a manufacturer's title fight to go for as well, Kiri.
55 points is their deficit at the moment, Hyundai to Toyota, so exactly what you're saying. They don't want to get left behind. OK, well, we have been hearing from Sami Pari. Well, he sipped a cup of coffee, but he's in a very different situation now. He's with PK in the media zone.
Well, Sami, it was a declaring from yourself that you were not pushing so far this morning, but still a bit of a scare in that last one. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was just more sleepy than I thought. Maybe there was like some gravel on top of the tarmac, I guess, and just a little surprise there. I was trying to play it safe and not really start to make the corner and just try to slow down. So we just hit some tree a little bit. Let's say, yeah, didn't feel so scary, but I think these cars on this kind of, if you hit your like a back end to something, it looks quite bad quite easily because there is not so much like some structure holding it. So, but yeah, all okay.
Generally, though, it feels like you're driving within yourself. You seem to get in this situation quite a lot when you've got your championship chasing teammates around you and you don't necessarily either want to or can fight with them, really. It's a strange situation for you sometimes when I know there's more to come, right?
Yeah, it's a bit like this. Still, I would say still most of the section I feel that I could go faster and and normally if you can find this like the middle way, like not crazy pushing, but like the driving is just flowing, so it's also coming more easily. So some sections, especially like the first 2 of the morning, were not right there. The feeling was maybe not just as good as yesterday. So
not really any big drama, and I don't mean that I should push, but just something to improve.
And what about the afternoon? How much will that still be about survival, do you think?
Yeah, I would just like to do the same like we did so far. So still, compared to most of the guys, I think the pace has been quite okay. So okay, it's obvious that a couple of them are pushing like crazy. So then they are a bit in front, but not too bad.
Good luck for the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
Well, there we go. Sami Pari there lost a place straight out the gate to Kalle Rovanpera, but still holding strong exactly where he has been for the last couple of stages. Not a bad place considering everything that's happened to everybody else.
Yeah, I couldn't actually hear his interview through my earpiece. I don't know what he said, but like just discussing his morning. I think he's had a good morning so far. He's been saying that he wasn't going flat out. That there's more in there if he wants it. Personally, I think he should just keep doing what he's doing, get the result, because he's definitely made strides forward, hasn't he, Kiri? And it's brilliant. If he can get a top 4 finish here in Sardinia on, for me, what remains one of the toughest rallies of the year, certainly from a physical perspective, then that's a brilliant result for Sami, and it gives him confidence going into a really tough rally like Greece. So yeah, he's doing a great job.
And I think he's owed a bit of luck as well, isn't he? He's had a tough start to the season. Okay, well, we are just behind Sebastien Ogier's car, so it seems poignant that we head into the interview that PK has done.
Well, Seb, here we go again. It's Ogier versus Tanak, part 2. How have you found things out there? It's obviously been a difficult morning for everybody.
Yeah, I would say a bit like expected. We knew there was some rough section today, probably rougher than what we've seen yesterday. So yeah, it wasn't easy. A very good start for us in the first one with a clean run. Second stage was yeah, a little bit on the safe side, and after I don't know, 2/3 of the stage, or what's it, kilometer 17 or something like this, we started to be in a massive dust, and yeah, in this moment there's not much to do. We just have to keep calm and slow down because we couldn't see anything in some places. So yeah, obviously we got this time loss back now. We just need to check more or less if it's accurate, but at least we are in the lead, and the last stage of the loop was the roughest, but a good one for us.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, it's always a tricky one. I think, what was it, 6.5 seconds slower they gave you with that nominal time? Are you, any complaints about that?
Well, I don't know, we need to look data to be more precise, but last split we had in this stage before we got in the dust is we were 5 seconds slower than Ott, so at least it's not far off. We need to still, you know, every second counts, so we need to check.
Every second counts, and it's only 15 seconds. Seems like a lot, but in Sardinia it's not a lot, is it?
No, it's not a lot. It's going to be very rough this afternoon, rough tomorrow again, so, and it's Ott behind, so, you know, he's never slowing down. He's always flat out, so it means, you know, 15 seconds can easily disappear.
Yeah, we'll look forward to the fight.
We sure will look forward to the fight over the next 3 stages. Stage 10, 11 and 12 coming your way at 3 o'clock, 4:15 and at 5:30. Then we'll be back doing the exact same thing at 6:45. So that is how the afternoon is going to shape up for you here at Rally Italia Sardinia. Thank you so much for joining us over the last half an hour. We'll be back with the action in a short while. For now, I'm going to go and get Jenny an ice cream.
Come on.